Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K Facebook Live video. Hope that you're all doing well out here on Tuesday afternoon. And I'm just checking to make sure that everything is set up and rolling on my page where I would like it to be, which it looks like it is, and pulling it up so I can see comments. If you are joining in today, I appreciate that. And if you are watching the replay, that is just awesome as well. So whatever works best for you works great for me. So, hey Lois, thanks for hopping in today. So we are going to play with a fun little stamp set called Freezin Fun. And this is a card that I'm going to be making today. I used some of the Trimming the Town Designer Series paper for the background. That's where the little mountains came from. And then this is one of the Hippo and Friends dies. And then the little critters are from the Freezin Fun stamp set bundle, which is one of the awesome ones in the new mini catalog that just started. Gosh, it's been a couple weeks ago, a week ago, whatever it was. I don't know. A month ago, I don't know. I can't even remember when it started. Hey, Karen and Shelly and Elise, I'm glad you all are here today. So again, this is a card we're going to be making. This is the stamp set that we're using. And again, it's the Freezin Fun stamp set. It's got some really cute little images in it, some fun sentiments. So just a good winter themed stamp. You don't necessarily have to make it Christmas if you don't want it to be. So if you have winter birthdays and that type of thing, this would definitely be a fun stamp set to have. And then it is bundled together with a set of dies called the Freezin Friends dies. And again, you can see the dies that coordinate with, whoops, that one cuts out the bunny, and then this one cuts out the little penguin, this one cuts out the raccoon on the sled, and we've got one for the seal. This one cuts out the little ice image, this cuts out the little snowboard, we have one that cuts out trees, the stack of snowballs, and then some little stars. What else? And then this one is actually a border die. And that is what I use to cut the kind of snow hills is what I was trying to say, from Whisper White cardstock. So definitely a fun little stamp set bundle. So you don't even remember seeing that, Karen? Goodness, it's a cute little stamp set. It's in the mini catalog. Go flip through. I can't remember what page it's on right now. I feel like it's kind of towards the back. So definitely go take a look. Hey, Catherine. And I saw Marilyn hopped on here too. It looks like, I don't know if I missed anyone else. So Judy is here. All right, thanks everybody for hopping in today. All right, so let me set, I'll just set this aside over here. A couple of other things that I used on this card. On the inside of the card, I actually used the Happy Christmas. So I did make mine a Christmas card after all. After telling you that you didn't have to, I turned mine into a Christmas card. So I used the Warm Hug stamp set and the Happy Christmas sentiment from that. And Rosemary, yeah, it is a really cute set. I mean, it's too cute. And like I said, it's perfect for, you know, everything from winter birthdays to Christmas. So you can use it for whatever you want. Oh, it's on page 69. Okay. I knew it was kind of towards the back. That's all I could remember. And then I also used one of the Hippo and Friends dies to cut out the sentiment on the card. So that's what I used to cut that little piece out. All right, so let me set those aside and get ready. And then two things, we'll make it short today since I don't have quite as many things to announce. But Stampin' Up's Cut and Emboss machine, the standard size one, is available now for purchase. So yay, it's finally available for customers. Hey, Danette, glad you're here. So if you are interested in it, let me know. I've got one and I can, you know, like I said, it's a great machine. I'm really happy with it so far. I just ordered the magnetic plate, which is also available to order now. And what I love about that, I don't have it yet, so I haven't been able to play with it, but the entire plate is magnetic rather than the other one that we had where it had the little magnet dots in it and the dies would kind of scoot all over the place on it. Hopefully this one will work an awful lot better, which I can't wait to try it out. So mine is on order and I will have it soon. And then the last thing I wanted to remind you about is Stampin' Up! Does have the Get and Go Starter Kit promotion going on right now. So if you purchase the starter kit, it's $99 plus applicable taxes in your area, and you get to pick out $125 worth of Stampin' Up! Merchandise, whatever it is that you would like to put in your starter kit. And then Stampin' Up! Is going to throw in addition, 16 card bases and kits, basically to make up 16 cards. the Queen Anne's Lace stamp set, the So Much Love stamp set, and a pack of rhinestones. So that all comes free along with your starter kit. So should you want to try to do this as a business, you can certainly, that would be your first class all ready to go. If you want to just pick up the awesome stamp sets and the rhinestones and have a nice pack of cards ready to go, you can do that too. So let me know if you're interested in joining or have any questions. We would love to have you hop in and join the team with us. Hey Jerry, glad that you are here. All right, now that I'm done with all that part, let's get to the fun stuff, the card making. All right, ahead of time, I did go ahead and prep a few things, just so you didn't have to sit and watch me cut and, glue everything together here. But we have got a pool party card base, and I have this one cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2, which again, this design you could use with your standard card too, the one that folds like a book, which would be 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Same thing. You just created a slimline card with the Freezin Fun stamp set. It's really cute and really easy to use. I mean, it didn't take me any time at all to put my card together. So, all right, so I have got a piece of the Trimming the Town Designer Series paper that, this is one of the really good ones out of the pack. This is one, it's a whole sheet of like a winter scene, basically, the whole sheet is, so it's really cute. Unfortunately, we're gonna cover the people up on this one, so all you're gonna see are the mountains, but it is a cute little piece of Designer Series paper. And I've got it cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm just going to adhere it so that it covers the entire front of the card. And I'm using multi-purpose liquid glue as my adhesive for this, so that I've got a little bit of wiggle time before it sets up permanently on my card front. Make sure that everything's lined up the way I want it to be, and then press it down well, and hopefully I'll get it adhered straight. Okay, so we will put that up over here for a second. The next thing that I did was I cut a piece of Whisper White cardstock with the Freezin Friends dies, and I used, I almost dropped my die set on the floor, yikes. So I used this die, which is the border die, and the piece was originally 5 1/2 by 4 1/4, and I basically just took it and cut it twice with this die. So I cut kind of a little V out of it. So if that gives you any idea size-wise, this measures about 3 inches here and down to about 2 inches here, and this one's about 2 inches here, and that goes down to about 1 inch over here. So that was sort of how I figured out that I liked the way it looked best, but you can tilt these however you might want to, and cut as big or as small of a piece as you would like to as well. But again, that's how I did it, is I started out with a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 piece of Whisper White cardstock, and then just kind of cut a little triangle out of it with the die. So ran it through once, and then took the piece off, ran it through a second time. So pretty easy. All right, I have got some Stampin' Seal that we are going to adhere. Whoop, hopefully, there we go. We're going to adhere this to the card front with, whoop, there we go. And just going to line it up down here in the corners. Hopefully I'm still on screen. I think I am. Line it up down here in the corner, and then make sure I'm straight on the sides and adhere it together. And then for this piece, I'm actually going to make sure that I don't put adhesive right up close to the edge, because as you can see, I've tucked one of the little trees down underneath it, and I want to make sure that I have room for it to fit under there, and where it's not going to hit the adhesive, and then I'll have to chop the little tree all up. So I'm just going to use a little bit of adhesive and kind of run it around where I think I'm going to need it at, and I may roll that back just a little, just so that I have some wiggle room for the tree. And then I'm going to do the same thing here and just adhere it with Stampin' Seal right over the top, just like that. And again, just lining up the edges and lining it up at the bottom. Next up, I did a little bit of this stamped ahead of time, and then a little bit of coloring ahead of time, so you don't have to sit and watch all of the coloring being done, because that might get a little boring to watch me color a whole pile of little tiny trees. But speaking of that, we will start with the trees, or the one tree that I still have left, and this is Shaded Spruce. There's Shaded Spruce Stampin' Blends, and I'm starting with the light, and I'm just going to put a little bit of color on the tree. And again, these are not like super fabulously colored shaded images that I'm doing here. I just kind of put the light color down first, add in a little bit of the dark, and then come back in with the light and try to blend them together a little bit. And I tried to just put the shadows in where I thought they would be underneath the little was it branches above them, whatever you want to say. So I tried to put a little dark in under there and then blend together just a little tiny bit. And that is all that I've done for the trees, so they were pretty easy to color. The bunny is also pretty easy to color, and I forgot to say probably, it's Whisper White cardstock, and I stamped it in Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And then cut them all out with the Freezin Freezin Friends dies. Freezin Fun is the stamp set, Freezin Friends are the dies. So I'm using Crumb Cake Stampin' Blends here to color in this skis for the bunny. And again, just add in a little bit of the light crumb cake first. Beth says she's going to have to put in an order soon. Yes, I mean, this is a really cute set, and you know, even for adults, I mean, I think it's kind of cute myself. I don't think you have to be a kid, but kids would definitely like it. So just add in a little bit of the dark underneath where the bunny is at, and then we're going to pull some of the dark and the light together here. Blending that up just a little bit. And I can see that I've got a little overzealous in my coloring, which is not unusual for me. I usually have at the ready my color lifter is the name of this one, and it's actually just essentially a clear marker. And all you do, if you end up doing like I did and color over the bunny's tail when you didn't mean to, you just take the color lifter and kind of push the ink back outside the line. And I've got a little bit on his foot too, so same thing here. We're just going to color and sort of push it back outside the line, and then it disappears. So that's the one really cool thing about using the Stampin' Blends markers, is they're super, super easy to clean up little oopsies, because I have a lot of those. All right, they are really easy to color, and actually even I feel like this is something that if you gave it to your kids and had them color their own Christmas cards, that would definitely be kind of fun for them to do too. All right, I've got Real Red. Yep, just want to make sure I was coloring with the light, because sometimes I start talking and accidentally grab the wrong one. Real Red Stampin' Blends here, and I'm going to color and put the light down first on the little bunny scarf. And then I'm going to come back in a second and add some dark. And again, just going to put it where I feel like there would be shading, kind of underneath the bunny's chin, and a little bit around the edges, and then probably a little bit on the back. And then use my blends to color them together. Oh, no oopsies for me. Yeah, I wish, Karen. I have oopsies all the time. Oh, goodness. But like I said, with the color lifter, it just really, I'm always amazed. All I have to do is kind of take that color lifter and sort of push the color back where it's supposed to go, and it disappears. Sometimes with the reds and the oranges, it takes a couple of tries to kind of move the color back. But for the most part, it goes right back where it's supposed to go, and then, you know, nobody ever knows that it was there to begin with. All right, I have got Petal Pink Blends that I'm going to color in the little bunny's tummy and his ears with, as well as his nose, or her nose. I guess I shouldn't say it's a his, because I don't know for sure. The bunny. And then I've got Gray Granite. This is light Gray Granite, and I'm just going to barely touch and run down the ski poles to color, add a little color to the ski poles, and then the little straps over the top of the bunny's feet. And the bunny is all done. I'm going to keep my Gray Granite out here for my penguin, and again, I'm going to be using the light first. Yeah, I think it would definitely be fun to do with the kids. I probably will put my kids on coloring a few images. Definitely something fun for them to do, or, you know, do some sort of even a gift that, you know, you put a pack of crayons or a pack of markers in with it, stamp them a bunch of images in Stays On or whatever it is, ink that you would like to, and then let them go to town coloring it too. All right, going to come back in with dark Gray Granite and just put it in a couple of spots here, kind of towards the bottom and at the top, and then anywhere where I feel like there would be a little shading on my penguin. And then we're going to come back and blend the colors together, sort of pull the dark ink out into the light and give it a little stir together, I guess. All right, I think we're about done with the gray. Then I made the scarf on the little penguin. I used Shaded Spruce again for the the scarf on the penguin. And again, it's the light and the dark that I'm using, starting with the light. Hopefully, get it on here without making a mess on this one. And, you know, like I said, as you can see, I'm not really excellent at coloring. I just sort of get the color on the paper. Come back with the dark, add a little bit in, blend the two together. I feel like these images are kind of fun and, again, fairly forgiving, so not something that has to be perfectly colored either. That's what makes it a little bit fun to do these, is that they're, you know, they're just cute little images, and you don't need to stress out about coloring them perfectly. Just add a little color to it and call it good. All right, going to come back in with the light here, the light Stampin' Blends marker, and blend the two together a little bit so that it's not quite as harsh of a line. And I think we'll call that good for the penguin. And then I'm going to go ahead and color in the hat. Oh, I forgot I'll color that in a second. I forgot to color the little fluff on the top of the penguin's hat. Whoop, that's the dark. I thought that looked awfully dark for light. I'm like, ooh, that's darker than I want it to be. So, but that's okay. We'll just take the light blends and we'll pull the dark color down a little bit. And actually, I think that didn't work out too badly. I'm glad I caught it before I colored the whole hat in with the dark. All right, so I think we'll call that good. And then I'm going to add a little color to the, is it Snowball? I'm trying to remember what the right name for that is. The little fluff on the top of the hat. I'm sure I know there's a right name for it, and I've just, as I get in here and start coloring, I can't ever come up with the right words. So, all right, so I've got light and dark Mango Melody that I'm going to be using here for the feet. And this is the light in particular for the feet and the beak on the penguin. And that's plenty bright for me. I don't know that I want to add a darker color in on that, so I think I'm going to leave that as it is. And then the last thing we have left to color is the little snowboard. Pom Pom. Gosh, why couldn't I come up with that? And I knew there was a name for it, and I'm like, that thing on the top of the hat that's fluffy? Thank you. There's always somebody that comes to my rescue as I'm fumbling through these, trying to come up with the right words to say. So again, I've got the crumb cake ink, or crumb cake Stampin' Blends, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the, whoop, I'm using the wrong end of it. A little bit of dark crumb cake around the edges of the snowboard. And then I'm going to take my light and come back again and sort of blend the two together. And this will be the last little bit of coloring that we'll do here. And then we'll just adhere things together and we'll be done. All right. Let me pull my card base back over here. And we're going to start assembling our little scene. I found it easiest to use glue dots to stick everything down because, again, glue dots sort of give you a minute to figure things out, and they don't stick flat down to the card front, which I actually kind of like because, again, that gives me, gives it a little bit of definition without putting dimensionals underneath every single thing on it. Not that I don't love dimensionals, but that would have been a lot of dimensionals. So, all right, so I'm going to use a few glue dots on the back of my penguin here. I'm going to stick one down here near his foot, or under his foot, so that I can add the snowboard like that and sort of get that set up and ready to go too. All right. And then add another glue dot or two underneath the snowboard so that I can get this adhered to the card front. And I think we will put that here. All right. Then I'm going to take the one little tree and tuck it down here inside, in between the two layers, right where I left the adhesive so that it wouldn't stick down there. So I've got my little tree tucked inside there, and then I've got one more tree to put on here behind the bunny, which I'll put that one right up over here. And then adhere the bunny to the card front, and then we'll add a sentiment and some snowflakes, and we'll be done with the card front. All right, I think I will go ahead and tuck the bunny in about right there. All right. So next up is the sentiment, and that came from the Freezin Fun stamp set. I keep wanting to call it Freezin Friends, but Freezin Fun stamp set. And I'm going to use Versamark ink and a little bit of white Stampin' Emboss powder. So just inking the sentiment up well. Stamping it down here on real red cardstock. And then sprinkling it with a little bit of white Stampin' Emboss powder. Hopefully y'all are enjoying your Tuesday. It looks like we're getting ready to get some rain here again. It's been a little cooler, which has been really nice. I can't complain. I'm not a huge summer fan, but it's been nice to have it be a little cooler out. Pulling out the heat tool and putting it on the level 2 setting, which is the heat embossing setting. Level 1 is for drying. And then I'm just going to give it a second and let the embossing powder melt. There we go. It's starting to go. You can hopefully see it on screen. It turns a little bit brighter white and becomes a little smoother. All right, that is done, and I can set that aside. Give it just a second to kind of cool off before I run it through the die cutting machine. Oh, you love arranging the little guys to make the winter scenes. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, it's a cute little stamp set. All right, so we've got the Hippo and Friends dies, and I'm using the smallest of the little octagon dies. And I'm just going to take this over. My die cutting machine is set up next to me, so I'm just going to run this through the die cutting machine quick. Hopefully quick, I should say. Oh, you knew the DSP would look great behind the little images, but didn't order it. It's a really cute designer series paper pack, and it's kind of unfortunate that you only get the 2 sheets, so you can't. I mean, you can get a couple of card fronts out of it, but you can get about 6. And then, well, actually, when you do the full card front like this, you can only get 2 out of the piece of designer series paper, 2 from each sheet, so a total of 4. All right, but that's okay. There's lots of other cute patterns in that pack too. Hey Jackie, glad that you are here. So, all right, using a couple little Stampin' Dimensionals, well, half Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere the sentiment down. And then we'll put on some of the adhesive back snowflake sequins. Make sure that I'm sticking this down straight. I think that I am. All right, so got the adhesive backed snowflakes. There are 2 different versions of them in the pack, and I'm not sure how well they show up here on camera. One has a little more pink to it, and one is a little bit more blue. And because we're using mostly blues on this card, I'm using the blue ones instead of the ones that are a little bit more pink or iridescent or whatever that color is. I don't, I don't know. Like I said, they look pink to me. So I thought with this card though that the blues would go a little bit better. Just based on the colors that are in the designer paper. And I'm just sort of sticking them randomly around the card front. I don't know, I think I counted that I used about 10 of them or so, but you can use as many or as few as you would like to stick them onto the card front. And then I did add one down next to the sentiment, right down here. And that's it for the card front. So, all right. Use the Snowflake Splendor DSP for your background too. Yep, it's cute. So, oh, you didn't get this DSP either? Goodness, Karen, you definitely need to get this pack. It's a cute set, and I love that the dies from the little house dies actually cut out a whole bunch of the images out of that designer paper, so you definitely need to get it. All right, I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock for the inside that we're going to start with, and then I have the sentiment from the Warm Hugs stamp set, and I've got a little Misty Moonlight ink. Just going to stamp the sentiment kind of in the upper center of the Whisper White cardstock panel. All right, I think that one looks pretty good. And then we're going to add a couple of snowflake images from the Freezin Fun stamp set, and just going to stamp them in Pool Party ink. Stamp one this way around the sentiment, and then go around the other side of it, stamp the other one that way. And then going to add a little bit of the Trimming the Town designer series paper. This is just one of the striped ones. So this is one that's got, you probably can't see it well, but that's a piece of one of the houses and one of the trees that you can cut out with the dies from that die set that coordinate with the designer series paper. So definitely a good one. All right, then we're just going to adhere this together. This piece of designer series paper is about 5/8 inch, and I'm going to trim it down to 4 inches so that it's the same size as the Whisper White cardstock panel. And then I'm going to use a little Stampin' Seal to adhere this to the inside of the card base, and we will be all done with the card today. All right, let's take that and adhere it, hopefully centered. And that's it for the inside of the card. I'm going to fold it closed and do a quick crease with a bone folder on it. And that is it for the card share today. So thanks so much for joining today. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the card. It's a really cute stamp set bundle. And again, it's in the mini catalog. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I will be posting everything. You really like the set and you're going to have to order it most definitely, Lois. You definitely are going to need to. So, but yep, this is in the new mini catalog. So let me know if you have questions. I'll be posting all the details about it, cardstock cuts and all that out on my blog tomorrow. So you can take a look out there. And I will also share the blog post in this video. I'll put it in the comment section up above in the video. So you're welcome to go check that out tomorrow if you are interested. So thanks again for joining me today. I will plan to be live on my YouTube channel on Friday around 2 o'clock Eastern time, and then back here again next week, Tuesday, out on Facebook Live. So I will chat with y'all soon, and thanks for joining today.